The material presented in this module assumes that you've captured a number of well-structured requirement statements which adhere to the 3 basic rules of effective requirements that we presented in the previous lessons. Let's review those rules here to ensure that we have a common basis to start with. Rule number 1 states that an individual requirement statement should be a simple, complete, well-structured sentence that states one thing and states it well. Rule 2 indicates that a requirement statement should emphasize what the solution needs to deliver as opposed to how it would be built. As Rule 3 indicates, a good requirement statement targets components of the business solution that are relevant, i.e. in scope, for your project. Rule 4 is the focus of this video course. It specifically states that an effective requirement statement is understandable, unambiguous, and clear to the target audience, which includes both the business and the IT community. The reason that this is important is that those tasked with delivering the solution often do not know whether their solution meets the customer's needs until they have developed it. On the other side, the business community does not know what they're going to get until the developers demonstrate the new system. Misunderstood, ambiguous, and assumption-laden requirements cause more project failures than any other single factor. Study after study confirms that simple fact. Unless all participants involved in the process of planning, defining, designing, developing, validating, and delivering the technology understand the intent of the requirements, your IT projects are at high risk of failure. According to periodic studies by the Standish Group, a high percentage of all IT projects fail, and the majority of them fail due to problems with the requirements. Why is this such an intractable challenge? One of the major problems that you face on IT projects lies in the number of people who have to understand what a requirement says and what it does not say in order for the project to be successful. You have to make sure that your requirements are understandable and clear to all of the various groups that you're dealing with as the one wearing the BA hat. You have to think about what the requirement means to all groups. For starters, do all of your users agree on what it means? You usually have to talk with several different stakeholders to get the full picture of what they as a group want or need the solution to do. Quite often, this leads to inconsistent or unclear statements that you have to help them clarify. Next, make sure that you and the users agree on what the requirement means. If you were the developer of the system, you'd be done now. However, if you are the one wearing the business analysis hat, then you're simply a translator in this context, so the game is not over yet. If you decide to have the solution built in-house, you have to communicate your requirements to an IT professional or developer and make sure that that person understands your requirements well enough to be able to do his or her job. If you outsource the development, your IT vendor has to understand the requirements correctly. If the vendor wants to offer a bid to solve your business problem, you'd like to make sure that the solution they offer meets your needs. That means that they have to understand the requirements as well as you do. The key is to make all involved parties understand and agree upon the requirements before buying or building the solution. Of course, the challenge is that you're dealing with people, each with his or her own background, culture, and, in today's international marketplace, possibly language. Navigating these muddy waters of communication can be so challenging that it might also mean that you have to test yourself to make sure you know what each requirement means and that you can communicate it at the appropriate level of detail to each different target audience. Unfortunately, that is not as simple as it sounds. Here's the problem in real life. The author of a requirement knows what it means. It seems so simple they think that the rest of the world should get it right away. For instance, assume you're the manager of inventory acquisition in an organization. Your job is to purchase enough of each product to be able to meet future customer demand, but avoid having more on hand than is necessary to avoid tying up too much capital in inventory. When someone wearing the BA hat asks you what you want your future automated product replenishment, APR, system to do, you might simply say something like, well, for starters, we need a forecast. When asked to explain what you mean, you might expand on your statement by saying, the system should predict the amount of stuff we'll sell. This requirement actually meets the first 3 rules that we reviewed earlier. So what could possibly be unclear about it?